Well, okay, can't stop now. Yeah, yeah. Once you hit the on button, that's it, baby. Yeah, Doc South here saying hey, and another day, another video blurb. And by the way, for those of you who listen to my webcast, I know the last week or so I haven't gotten too many on, but it's been awfully busy at work, at the supermarket, and also the I've got various parties and stuff, and it just yeah, I haven't had time to set aside to do a show, but I pretty soon that kind of thing will end, and we'll have lots of shows all through the winter. Well, you'll see. You'll have more than your share of oldies. Anyway, right now, look at this. Tomatoes. I know. What is this? It's November. Now, I picked these about, I know they're green. That's what I'm talking about. The darn things this year, what, 2017, not the greatest year for growing tomatoes. I had oh, I put a flower pot garden up out in my, not a pot garden, a flower pot garden, right? Or, yeah, in other words, instead of digging a garden somewhere, well, we have relatively rocky soil here with the river nearby. I use flower pots, get potting soil, and grow my plants that way. I like it. I don't know, it's kind of fun, and I'm out there, fretting and worrying about fighting off the chiggers and the oh gosh, the birds and the doggone squirrels that like to eat the tomatoes, etc., or whatever else I'm growing. And but this year, the tomatoes, it took, gosh, I planted those plants in early May, and it was sometime in September before I had tomatoes. Uh, we had plenty of blossoms. But for some reason the tomatoes grew like molasses in January. They just weren't. They were real tiny. I had lots of Miracle Grow in there, and just they certainly had sun. I watered them religiously, it, and yet it. I think finally sometime in August we got tomatoes that were like this big. Yeah, yeah. There's my thumb. There's the tomato. Yeah, and then all of a sudden they started to grow sometime around late September, and through October, they got bigger and bigger, and eventually, but they were still green. And I couldn't figure it out. To this minute, I don't know. And I asked other people, they said they were having the same trouble. And then, so what one fella said, he said, if they look like they aren't growing anymore, at least pick them and set them on your windowsill. And they most likely, give them time, they'll turn red. And so I did that, and I stuck them on the windowsill and in the sun, and eventually, yeah, it took 2 or 3 weeks, but eventually you would get this kind of scene. Again, on a bigger tomato, it'd be green, and I'd notice just a little hint of red on the sunny side, right? And eventually, yeah, you had to wait about another 2 weeks, and eventually you had a perfectly good tomato for a tomato sandwich. And so I did get a couple of tomato sandwiches. I know Sandy used to get me tomatoes when she'd go to a flea market. Usually there'd be someone selling tomatoes. She'd pick a few up for me in past summers. This year I said, "What? No tomatoes?" And she'd say, I don't know what to tell you. She says they're not. No one's got them for sale. They're all saying it's a rotten year for tomatoes. So anyway, I cleaned up the garden back in November. Yeah, well, this month, right, or early this month, and I had a bunch of these little babies left, and they were all green. And I said, I was going to throw them out, and then something said, no, stick them on the windowsill. And they are now just, what is this, almost December now. You see, there's just a little bit of red to them. They're going to turn red. So I guess I'll probably have a tomato sandwich sometime in probably right around Christmas. I'll be able to have maybe one more for the season. Huh? Tell you, I do love them. Yeah, tomato sandwiches and me go back a long way. But these green ones, people say, you can I guess you can go. Oh, look at that! Some little box popped up right in the middle of the show here. Let me. Okay, there you go. I don't think you could see it, but it was annoying, bothering me. Something about getting my computer clean. I need to take this computer down to the spray and wash there for my. It's pretty grimy, and that's okay to do. Okay, yeah, I thought so. Okay, well, anyway, I've got one tomato blurb that I wrote in my book of. Actually, I got a couple in there, but this one will do for now, I think. Important advice for tomato sandwich lovers. If you're a senior citizen, this might be a reason. I delved into the problem. And this might be something that'll help you with future tomato sandwiches for you too, if you're, my age. Okay. Okay, well, here it is. I sat there today with a big slice of tomato and mayonnaise on my lap, wondering what went wrong. This has been happening for a while now. You all know that I really love tomato sandwiches. They're my favorite, yeah. And I'll fix myself a nice tomato sandwich, drooling the whole time. I put it to my eager lips, then I take a big bite. I go to put the sandwich down, and wouldn't you know it, once again, whoops, there's a big old slice of tomato lying on my lap. I resolved to then and there to figure out. It just happens too often. Right. I resolved then and there to figure out why this has been happening. I searched my earliest memories. How did I first come to enjoy this most problem-free and delicious of treats, the tomato sandwich? My thoughts went back to over 60 years ago, to the summer cabin my grandparents had up at Lake Lenape, New Jersey. Yeah. There in the log cabin's kitchen was Grandma telling me that I was really going to enjoy. I'm almost certain that's the next where I got to flip the page here. I was really going to love this new treat she was making. She was peeling a tomato. As she was doing that, she asked me to get the white bread and mayo. I was pretty hungry, and Grandma never failed me yet. Oh, she goofed maybe once when she boiled a duck, but, well, but other treats, but other than that, her treats were never a problem. She also asked me to get the pepper. Okay. The tomato was peeled, and she was slicing it as I set the other ingredients on the table. She gave me a few hints. She said, now, tomato sandwiches need lots of mayonnaise and pepper to taste just right. Never scrimp on the pepper. The sandwich was ready in a jiffy, and she handed it to me with one more piece of advice. She says, never forget, always peel the tomato. That's very important. I took the first bite of tomato sandwich and let the flavor soak in. Wow. I know. Hey, Grandma, these are great. Since then, I've had thousands of those things and have always eaten them without incident. Never a mishap, never. Where was I going wrong all of a sudden? Step by step in my mind's eye this morning while working in the dairy aisle, I'd see Grandma this past morning working in the dairy aisle. I'd see Grandma making the sandwich. I'd relive her peeling the tomato, asking for mayonnaise. Her instructions echoed in my thoughts. Then, pow! I threw a whole bunch of shredded cheese bags in the air. That's it. That's it, I hollered. Grandma's customers were running from the aisle. Grandma peeled the tomato. I've never done that. Never. That's got to be it. But why? Why? And then it hit me. Grandma was about 60 or so back when she made me my first sandwich. My trouble with tomato slippage started a few years back when I hit that golden age just like her. Here's what happens. I'm certain this is it. When a person hits 60 or so, their teeth start to separate a bit. Sometimes you lose a tooth, right? Yeah. And let me see here. I lost my place. Yeah, sometimes you lose a tooth or two. If you try to bite into an unpeeled tomato sandwich, the skin of the tomato gets stuck between your teeth, and then when you pull the sandwich away, the slice stays stuck in the inside of your mouth, stuck to the tooth, and its weight and your initial chewing causes it to dislodge and fall into your lap. Even worse would be the double drop, where the slice stuck to your teeth pulls the slice that stuck to your teeth pulls a second slice of tomato out of the sandwich, which then falls into your onto your shoes. Grandma's words rang truer than ever. Never forget, peel the tomato. If you're my age, heed this sage advice from the past. I guess young folks don't have to worry, but yeah, if you're up there like me, okay. I hope this helps. Peel that tomato and enjoy your sandwich. Hey. Uh, this one's almost ready. Yeah, you see, it's probably got about another week to go. And then I guess we'll peel it. And one more tomato sandwich as to celebrate the first day of winter. I imagine I'll have a like this one. That's going to be probably January for this baby's ready. Huh? Yeah. Okay. Got to watch it though. The mice are getting into them too. You got to, yeah, darn mice like tomatoes just as much as I do. Well, friends, that's a wrap. You have a good day. God bless, and go get yourself a tomato. And remember, white bread, a lot of mayonnaise, pepper too. All right. No cheese, no cheese. Okay. See you later.